Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time. On this tutorial, I want to show you how I baked and decorated two twin cakes, two tier each. So this is a vanilla flavor cake batter. I just wanted to show you guys how it looks. This is all butter cake. Right, it's not oil based cake. They are all butter based cake, right? So you can see how runny it is, looking so lush and really nice. So after mixing the batter, I just decided to bring it out and show you guys how I scoop my batter into my cake pans. So these were all the cakes. They were already out from the oven. I actually really get questions. People ask, how come your cake is so leveled and all that? I don't actually know that. I think the baking pan is a contributing factor, right? These aluminium pans, maybe that is why they are flat on the top. They don't have dome, because my cakes rarely have domes. They rarely do. The only cake I think have domes, a little dome when I bake them. It's fruit cake. So you can see here almost all the cake are leveled on the top. So this is my stacking. I'm just trying to stack them. The cake is 10-inch and 7-inch layer each. Sorry, 7-inch and 10-inch pan each. So like I said, it's a twin cake, two tier each, so it's 10-inch and 7-inch. So usually I like to have 3 or 4-inch difference between my tiered cake when I'm making tiered cake. I do not like 2-inch difference, because that will make the cake look very tall and no space at all. So it will make it beautiful, right? Just in case you want to make a tiered cake, please ensure that you have 3 to 4-inch difference each. If this was a wedding cake, I would have done 4 difference each, because it just have a way of giving your cake this beauty and elegance, and it shows you're a professional who knows what you're doing, right? So I want to encourage you, next time you're making a tiered cake, ensure the inches difference between the first and the second layer, or the fourth layer, no matter how many layers you're doing, ensure that they are 3 to 4-inch difference between each layer. But for this particular cake, it is 4 and 3 inches difference. So you can see at the end, you will see how the cake looks. So you will now use your discretion to, of course, know the one that you will do, whether you will do 3 inches difference or you will do 4 inches difference, right? So the cakes are 4 layers each. No, I think, okay, the base is 4 layers each. Then the top tier is 3 layers each, because I did not want the top tier to be too tall, right? So this was an urgent order. We had less than 24 hours to make this order. Less than 24 hours. This particular customer, when he comes, he usually comes with urgent orders. So he called, I think, about 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. on Friday, and Saturday morning he needed to come and pick up. So I was in a hurry, just trying, and everything was fresh. We baked the cake fresh, we made the fondant fresh, we had other decorating materials at home, so we didn't really have to hurry about that. So like you can see, after layering your cake, you ensure that you trim it nicely. Please, it has to be very nice, because like I always say in my video, the way you layer your cake and trim them eventually will tell how your cake will look in the end. When you properly trim and layer, you can be rest assured that your cake will be very straight at the end, right? So that layer was burnt, and it was dry a bit. I needed to take that off. So, like I said, your cakes need to be very straight. You can see how I'm arranging them. Note that my hands were properly washed before I started working, and I wash my hand intermittently during the process, right? So I'm showing this part again so that you would know that your cakes, your layering and trimming is the foundation of your cake. If your cakes are properly trimmed and layered, rest assured you would have a very beautiful cake. And I love to have 3 inches difference or 4 inches difference when I'm making a tiered cake, like I said. So you will see the end result of this cake, so you would know when you're making your cake whether to use 3 inches difference or 4 inches difference. Usually for wedding cakes I do 4 inches difference, and for birthday cake I do 3 inches difference. When you see a cake that is too close to each other, you will not really appreciate the beauty of that cake. Some people, I see some bakers who do 2 inches difference. Maybe they are doing 10 and 8, or 8 and 6. It's actually good, but I do not personally like the outcome. So I ensure that my all my cakes are usually either 3 inches difference between each tier or 4 inches difference between each tier. That way you appreciate the beauty of the cake more than when the tiers are just too packed together. If you do a 5 tier cake, for example, and the inches difference you have is just two each, the beauty of your that cake, you may not really appreciate it. Just try doing 3 inches different, and I know you will thank me later. So, like you usually know, I hardly use chocolate ganache on my cake because my customers, some of them do not like it, and this is what we usually use here in the parts of the world, Nigeria precisely. Just mix the cake crumbs and buttercream and use it to crumb coat your cake. This has been working for me for many years, but when a client requests for chocolate ganache, of course we are going to do it and deliver. So it's usually based on client's preference. That is how we work, right? So just add a little crumbs of your cake to your buttercream and thoroughly mix it together. It shouldn't be too runny, it shouldn't be too hard. The consistency should be the consistency of your usual buttercream cake. Alright, so it shouldn't be too hard, shouldn't be too runny, so that it can stick to your cake. So that is what we have here. You can see how smooth it is, and I take my time to ensure that I do it perfectly, because when it's well done, you can be rest assured that your cake will be very beautiful and beneath your fondant. But somebody asked a question recently and asked I would be if it's necessary to crumb coat your buttercream cake like this before applying buttercream. No, the answer to that question is no. I do not crumb coat buttercream cakes with cake crumbs. I just crumb coat the buttercream cake with the buttercream I'm using for the cake. So I just apply the butter directly. No need to add cake crumbs. This is just buttercream cakes, right? So for this fondant crumb coating cake, when you peel the fondant off, usually the crumb coat follows the fondant off, so you can just eat your cake like that. So imagine you want to eat buttercream cake and there is a lot of cake crumbs beneath the buttercream cake. I don't think your customer would appreciate that. So that is why I do not do add crumb coat my buttercream cakes like this. I usually crumb coat only fondant cake, and the reason is because you want to hide the layers of the cake. You will see some cakes after covering with fondant, you'll be seeing the lines beneath the fondant where each layer is and all that. So I don't appreciate that. It doesn't show professionalism when you cover a fondant cake and there are layers of fondant. The layer of fondant is showing beneath the cake, right? So that's why I do it like that. So you should, so you can see how carefully I'm taking my time to smoothen it, because I know by the time I apply my fondant, this is what I'm going to have. There will not be any magic. If your cake is bent when you have compoted, that is how it will be bent when you apply your fondant. There's no magic to that. So you want to ensure that you do it properly, so that once you apply your fondant on it, it will be very straight, firm, and looking really nice. You can see how focused I am because this is very important. Right, so these were all the cakes when we were done. When I was done crumb coating it, you can see there are 4. Like I said, there are twin cake 4. So this is the fondant. Like I said, we made the fondant when immediately the order came. We made the fondant. So this was the next day. The fondant at this point was very hard. Like I had to knead. It was really stressful, but the result of the cake was nice. So it took off all the stress I went through. So I'm sorry I had to fast forward it. The cake is blue cake, and then in this video you will see the new technique of how to stencil your cakes. Alright, so you'll see it in this video. So the fondant kneading, like I said, was a hassle, and then because the fondant was big, I had to just knead. So this was when I was finally done. So like I said, you see the technique I use in stenciling this cake. I've done a cake like that before. I think a purple and pink on the channel. So I I just posted it on Shorts. I did not post the long video. So I promised you that I was going to show you how I stenciled that cake, but it was very beautiful. A lot of people asked in the comments for the tutorial, so that's why I am taking my time to do this video and then make it slow as much as possible to ensure that you get all the details. If at this point you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. Kindly share my videos. Kindly comment. Kindly tell us where you're watching us from. Let us send you a hug in our next video. Thank you so much. To all my old subscribers, you guys are the MVP. Sincerely appreciate your presence here. I do not take your presence for granted. Thank you so much for your comments, for your contribution, for your support, for watching my videos, for sending me prayers, sending me beautiful comments. I am grateful immensely. Thank you so much. So the reason why we do I spread corn flour on the work surface is to avoid the fondant from sticking, right? So someone asked in one of my comments, she said aside corn flour, what can she use? We can actually use icing sugar, confectioner sugar. You can use it, right? It works perfectly as well, but I just prefer using the cornstarch, and then it's easier to dust off after work. You know, when you want to steam your cake, it's easier to dust off